Did Shakespeare really coin alligator? I have read many essays on the heavily debated subject of just how many words are immortal but coined. I think it is safe to say, some of the words and phrases which are credited to him are undoubtedly his own, and yet there are as well many others which I, and many others, though wholeheartedly would love to see credited to Shakespeare, nevertheless, seem uneasy to accept it. I was looking through numerous compiled lists of words supposedly coined by the bard, and found one which truly piqued my interest: alligator. I already knew the etymology of the word due to my previous interest in the conquistadors and Spain's 15th, 16th century history, initially aligarta, coined by the early Spaniards who entered the Americas and more specifically Tierra de la Florida, possibly Ponce de Leon or those with him, and I already knew the Spanish word alligator was already in use during Elizabethan England, and of course, crocodile is a word dating much farther back, but is there any evidence of the use of the word alligator before Shakespeare? OED puts 1560s, large carnivorous reptile of the Americas, lagarto, alligator, a corruption of Spanish el lagarto, the Indias, the lizard of the Indies, from Latin lacertus, sea lizard, with Spanish definite article el, from Latin al, sea lu, though the modern form of the English word is attested from 1620s, with unetymological a as in theta, fella, etc. Alligator was an early variant, and an overall Latin appearance. Here is the use of alligator by Shakespeare, from Romeo and Juliet, v. 1, line 2840. And in his needy shop a tortoise hung, an alligator stuffed, and other skins of ill-shaped fishes. Here is the first, 1623, second, 1632, third, 1665, and fourth, 1685, folio spelling. And in his needy shop a tortoise hung, an alligator stuffed, and other skins of ill-shaped fishes. Although fourth folio makes it alligator with an O. And the first, bad, quarter of R&J reads: as I passed by, whose needy shop is stuffed with beggarly accounts of empty boxes, and in the same an alligator hangs, old endies of pattered, and cakes of roses. But the second, good, quarter of 1599 reads: and in his needy shop a tortoise hung, an alligator stuffed, and other skins of ill-shaped fishes. So, though the spelling is off, undoubtedly the word reads as alligator, and since those Jacobians spelled the way a word sounded, I think there is strong evidence to hold that the pronunciation of the word is alligator, as the a in between alligator is moved to the front, alligator, or alligator. Thus, the essence of our modern-day name of the animal is more like Shakespeare's added a at the end than any other archaic name used prior. By 1643 the word alligator is in use, as seen in Madagascar, the richest and most fruitful island in the world, 1643. The greatest enemy their cattle have is the crocodile or alligator, who being in the fresh rivers, meets with them sometimes when they come to water, but of these there are not many, and those might soon be destroyed if the natives had either wit or skill to do it. I did find the word being used in a 1542 text, but it does not seem to have anything to do with the animal. Or throw anything against the ground or walls, Hashtag alligator, he that bindeth, Hashtag alligatura. My question is, did anyone use the name before Shakespeare in writing? And thus did Shakespeare really coin the modern name of alligator, even though it was spelled differently, different syllables, but otherwise very recognizable?
In a word, no, Shakespeare did not coin alligator. Not even in the form, alligator, the most excellent tragedy of Romeo and Juliet, 1597, and in the same an alligator hangs. What evidence there is suggests, rather, that he, or whoever produced the 1597 text, might have adopted and singularized the form after its use by Walter Bigges, died 1586, in the 1589 A Summary and True Discourse of Sir Francis Drake's Vevest Indian Voyage, where we killed also many alligators aforesaid. Note that the OED Etymological History of Alligator, in the 3rd edition, September 2012, is, by my measure, greatly changed from that in the 2nd edition. Etymology: Spanish el lagarto, elder plus lagarto lizard, 13th centre, kind of large New World reptile, alligator, first half of the 16th centre, no longer used in this sense, ultimately, Classical Latin lacerter, perhaps via an unattested post-classical Latin form *lacerter. Compare, English, French alligator, 1663, scientific Latin alligator, genus name, 1807 in Covia. Compare also, French, Spanish alligator, 1797 or earlier. The more common word is now caiman, The remodeling of the ending of the word from arto or arter to ater or ate probably results from association with agent nouns in ater or ate. The textual evidence cited by OED in the third edition has changed. Saliently, the 1568 quotation in the second edition has been omitted, and a 1555 quotation relevant to the development of a sense but not directly illustrative of it stands in its stead. The problematic 1577 quotation in the second edition remains, although the nature of the problem receives an editorial tip of the hat in the third edition. It did not feature in the second edition. SP Kaimunds, Q Larman legatos, the second, dangling, close bracket may indicate that a typographical error failed to enclose the entire attestation in brackets, showing that the use of legatos in the quote was not considered directly illustrative of English, as opposed to Spanish, use of the word. The 1589 use I cited from Biggs's, the singular form of which parallels the plural form found in the 1597 Shakespeare, does not get a mention in the OED second or third editions, but the 1591 Nivert attestation from the second edition does appear in the third. The next attestation following the Nivert quote in the third edition is from the 1597 publication of Romeo and Juliet. I find the note in the OED third edition regarding the remodeling of the ending of the word far more palatable than the second editions, whence by popular corruption and following convolutions, if for no other reason than Occam's razor.
이름은 치고 드셔라. 브레이크스 아리는 녹화비.